Do you have a show that you like to watch, or maybe a movie or a series of movies? Now, let me ask you this. Why are those shows or that movie, why is that your favorite? We love all kinds of things, right? The characters, the action, the special effects, the storyline, the suspense, the humor, the setting, on and on and on. We can talk about all these things for days, right? But one of the things that we may not realize is that when it comes to some of our favorite shows, we love them because we feel like we can relate. Yeah? Maybe the main character has a friend and it reminds you of their best friend. Maybe he or she is dealing with some drama with friends or conflict at home. And you feel like you connect with those emotions, right? That what you're seeing on TV, you feel those things. The action or the premise might be unrealistic to your life, but you can feel that tension and that struggle and that drama. That's something you can 100% relate to. Isn't there something nice about that when that happens? When we see a character or a storyline that we feel like gets us, we really connect with it, don't we? It makes us like that character or the show even more. Now, in the same way, it's great when we have people that we feel like get us. When we have that friend who laughs at our dumb jokes and our quirks when no one else does, because they understand us. It makes us like that person even more. Now, maybe you have friends who could literally finish your sentence or predict what you're going to do next because they know you that well, which I think is awesome, by the way. Maybe it's not a friend. Maybe it's a family member, your brother, your sister, or maybe it's not a person. Maybe it's a group of people, a team, your band, your theater group, a club, youth group, small group, whatever. Everyone in the group is uniquely different from each other. Our group is like a prism. Hey, there's that word again. There are all kinds of unique lights and angles, but it seems like we all understand that, right? We embrace the fact that we're different from each other. For some reason, that allows you to get along. And the people in your group aren't like you, but they get you. Now, why did that happen? And how did we get here? As great as it is to feel like there are people who get you, isn't it true that for most of us, when we go through really difficult things, we still feel like we're alone? As much as it was great that someone in my family could get my attention at home, when I was in the middle of a heated argument, I didn't really even think about them. I felt like I was by myself, all alone, right? I could tell that if I could tell a friend what was going on, and that was encouraging, but it wasn't like they could actually take away any of my pain. And the reality is that going through tough times feels lonely. People may be able to relate to us and to relate to our pain, but they can't feel that pain. They can't go through it for us. In the middle of really tough times, we sometimes wonder things like, will this ever get better? Why does this have to be this awful? Does anybody care? Why isn't someone reaching out? Is there a way that I can be strong enough to deal with this on my own? The problem is that we all go through tough times. Guaranteed. It's going to happen. Jesus himself said this. In this world you will have trouble. Period. John 16 verse 33. In this world you will have trouble. Ouch. Right? Jesus said it. It's true. If you live on planet Earth, there's a good chance you're going to experience some sort of trouble. Think of one area of your life where there's trouble. Go ahead, think about that. Just pick one. I'm sure you've got more than one. See, I told you there was trouble in the world. We all face it, right? Good stuff happens, but so does bad stuff. Since we're going through tough times, we have a tendency to feel lonely, right? It leads us to feeling loneliness. And since we're going to face trouble in the world, then we're all going to have to deal with these lonely feelings. And like anyone else in life, anything else in life, we can either deal with that in a helpful way or we can deal with it in an unhealthy way. Now, in this series, we've been asking questions like, who is Jesus? And why does Jesus matter when it comes to facing the real stuff that we deal with? These questions definitely have a tendency to show up when we face trouble in life. Now, we wonder, does Jesus really care? Does he really even get what I'm going through? When Jesus was on earth, he had plenty of experience with troubles. Let me give you an example. From this time, many of his disciples turned back and no longer followed him. John chapter 6, verse 66. That's a nice way of saying Jesus got ditched by people who said they were on his team. Now, if you've ever felt lonely, Jesus experienced that too. In fact, he experienced a lot of the same stuff you and I have. He was tempted to do wrong. He was lonely. He was hungry, tired, angry, frustrated, sad, all those things that we feel, right? And I never really think about Jesus getting his feelings hurt or feeling left out. But as much as Jesus was fully God, he was also fully human, which means he experienced all the things that we feel. That's a new light to shine on our prism. When we go through trouble, Jesus gets it. He's been there. I think that's why he says, in this world you will have trouble. He knew from his own experience that that would be true, but there's more to that statement because Jesus said that to his closest friends the night he was arrested before being killed. And one of his friends, John, wrote down what Jesus said. John wrote down this, that Jesus said, I have told you these things so that in me you can have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world. Jesus has just been there. He's been there and conquered it. That means Jesus not only gets how you feel, but he can help you get through it. He can be with you through it, and in the process he invites us to take heart, which means to find comfort and peace in him. Think of it this way. Jesus is like the most awesome version of a big brother. Now, you may not have an older brother, and if you do, he might be really terrible to you. I don't know. But that's not Jesus. He is an incredible older brother who gets what it's like to be you. He's there for you all the time. He's strong. He can help you get through your troubling situations, even when they feel like they're overwhelming. Now, I don't have an older brother, but I have younger brothers who are pretty awesome. And especially now that we're older, right? My brothers are loyal. They watch out for me. They help me get better. They send me funny memes on Instagram, right? The whole package. And we're close. We're really tight. And through good times and bad times. That's Jesus. He's the strongest, most loving, loyal, compassionate brother in all of human history. And like an older brother, whatever we're facing, he's walked through that already. So what that means is his experience can encourage me and guide me in my experience. How does Jesus help? Well, in a lot of ways. Sometimes he uses other people, other believers to support us. Sometimes he uses his word to help us find peace and comfort. Sometimes he uses his commandments to help us stay away from trouble in the first place. Right? It's amazing how much trouble you don't get in when you don't go do it. Sometimes he uses the Holy Spirit in our lives to make us stronger when we face tough times. The point is, Jesus gets what we're going through and he can help. Now, does that mean that everything is always going to be easy? Of course not, right? Will we never face trouble? Will we never get left out, never lose a friend, never get hurt? No, of course not. But even Jesus experienced that stuff. It does mean, though, that because of Jesus, you're not alone in that. That's really important because the only thing worse than feeling hurt, embarrassed, isolated, and anxious is feeling alone through that. When we face trouble, we all want someone to talk to who can help us find our way out. That's normal. If you've ever faced trouble before and thought, I wish there was somebody I could talk to about this, that's natural. God wired us for community and for relationships. We all have feelings that we need to verbalize out loud, right? We probably even have feelings that we don't know about until we get talking about them. People are great. Community and friendship are some of God's most important inventions. But there will be times when people can't physically be there. There will be moments where you can't get in touch with anybody. There will be times where you will feel lonely. But even though we might feel lonely, because of Jesus, we don't have to be alone. Earlier, I asked you to think about one area of your life where you're experiencing trouble. Now, maybe that's your friends or your school, your sport, your family. Now, as you think about that, I want you to take a deep breath. And now I want you to challenge yourself to try 3 things. Number 1, talk to Jesus about your troubles. Sometimes the word pray sounds really spiritual and overwhelming, and we don't even want to try. But praying is just talking to Jesus. So this week, I want you to spend some time talking to Jesus about what's going on in your life. If you don't want to talk out loud, write it down. Type it in a text. Say it in your mind. Whatever works for you. But no matter how you pray, Jesus is listening and he wants to be there for you, no matter what you're facing. Number 2, talk to Jesus' people about your trouble. When you have a real friend that shows up for another person or stays with them when they're down, that's powerful. A lot of times, Jesus uses other people to help us overcome what it is we're facing. That's one of the reasons we want everybody here to be in a small group and have a leader that you trust, because whenever you're going through something, you don't have to go through it alone. In fact, one of the best things you can do is share that with your leader or your group so they can encourage you and pray for you and check in with you, right? See how you're doing. No matter how lonely those tough times may feel, you're never really alone. And you may find that Jesus shows up for you in the words from someone in your small group. The third thing is be with other people when they hurt. When you and I face trouble, our natural tendency is to focus only on ourselves, on our situation, right? On our little hurt. But when Jesus said that in this world you'll have trouble, that meant everybody. That means there's a good chance that somebody near you, in your group, in your home, somebody's going through something. Maybe one of the ways Jesus shows up for them is through you. This week, try checking in on your friends who are going through some trouble. Send them a text. Offer some encouragement. Give them a hug when you see them. Pray for them. Help them see they're not alone. When I was growing up, I know it's so common to feel like you're alone in whatever it is you're facing. Even in a room full of people, it just feels like nobody gets you. That's why I think that knowing who Jesus is really can change everything. As you head out today, I want you to imagine how life would look different if you lived each day as though you were not alone and as if no one else should be either. How would it change the way that you handle trouble? How would it change the way you treat other people? When you face trouble, and all of us will, Jesus is the real deal. He's reliable, he's loving, and he's always there for you. He gets you, he can help you. Because of Jesus, you are never alone.